Oh, anxiety monster! Alright guys, let's get straight to it. If you're here, you probably suffer from anxiety. I don't like to assume things, I'm not an assumer, but you clicked on this video, so based on my data, you are probably stressing out. Dude, why you stressing? I don't know why I thought it was a good idea to make a video for someone with anxiety, because you're probably just sitting there, like,
I have all these other things that I gotta do. I can't waste all these minutes on the video. Sitting here, listening to you, talking about how I'm anxious all the time. It's making me anxious to hear how anxious I am.
you gotta chill out. To start, what is anxiety? Alexa, what's the definition of anxiety?
The word anxiety has a couple of distinct meanings. And now, 1. Psychiatry, a relatively dominant state of worry and nervousness according to the variety of mental disorders, usually accompanied by compulsive behavior or attacks of panic. 2. A vague, unpleasant emotion that is experienced in anticipation of some, usually ill-defined, misfortune.
Basically, anxiety is you freaking out about something. Could be anything. Could be everything. You probably have anxiety if you find yourself grinding your teeth, clenching your jaw, if you find yourself with a lot of back and shoulder pain, and you don't do a lot of, I guess, like heavy lifting or incorrect lifting, because that can result in a sore back too. It can give you headaches. It can give you insomnia. Not saying that you can only have those symptoms if you're anxious, saying that you might have those symptoms if you're anxious. Also, I'm not a doctor, so
Now I'm making you even more anxious talking faster. Oh no!
we gotta fix your anxiety. It's probably stressing you out to have my hands this close to the camera. As someone with intense anxiety, I have been in the hospital for an anxiety/panic attack before. And recently, actually, it was like 3 months ago. Before that, I didn't even think that I had really bad anxiety. I was like, alright, I have intense stress that I keep just like buried in my shoulders a lot, and it just kind of like chills there, and my shoulders always hurt. And I was like, I can live with that, that's fine. And then I ended up in the hospital because not enough oxygen was getting to my brain, because I wasn't breathing, and just from being anxious, and my whole body was starting to shut down and like go into panic mode. It was really scary, and when I was laying there in the hospital, I was like, I'm not doing something right. There's something wrong here. And obviously, because I was in the hospital, something's wrong. But it was more than that to me. I was just thinking like, man, I'm doing something wrong with my whole life. Like, my whole life has led me up to this moment. Every action that I have chosen has resulted in me laying on a hospital bed and like having a panic attack. And I feel like had I not gone through that, I probably, as I fidget during an anxiety video, I probably would have lived my whole life thinking that everything was fine, and I would have like died of a freaking heart attack or something. I feel like a lot of anxiety is very subtle, and people may not even notice it sometimes. Sometimes anxiety, I feel like anxiety is like a slow killer, and you don't really pay attention to it until something terrible happens, you know? The more I was paying attention to my body, the more I realized that I really do have a lot of anxiety issues. We gonna fix your anxiety, girl.
Anxiety!
Chill out, man. You need your zen. Let's figure out how to solve this anxiety issue. In my head, I picture it as like a little demon that just like chills on your shoulder and is like, hey, don't forget all the things you have to do today. You have to do the dishes and the laundry, clean the cat, you have to go to work and wash the fridge, you have to shoot a YouTube video and lift the tub of pudding. You have to do all these things by you, and it's 10 a.m. right now. Don't forget. What I find works for me is that I decompress consistently, so I figured out how I relax and how I can release stress every single day. And for me, Derek can vouch for this, I take so many baths, and I'm always talking about doing my yoga, taking a bath, and that helps with the physical stress that I hold in my body. And if I don't have physical stress, if my muscles are tense and like hurting all the time, I feel like it's easier for me to remember to breathe and stay relaxed. Another thing that I've been working on that I have been super struggling with is breathing. And that put me in the hospital, so like, I feel like I should know it by now, but I still forget to breathe. I'll find myself like taking really shallow breaths, or I'll find myself holding my breath, not as frequently as I used to. I used to hold my breath a lot and be holding my breath and like doing something, and I'd be like, people would kind of freak out a little bit because they're like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, no, I forgot to breathe for like 12 minutes. I try to remember to take super deep breaths, and whenever I catch myself tense or just not breathing well, I make sure to do really, really deep breaths afterwards, after I catch myself doing that, just to kind of like make up for the lack of oxygen in my brain, if that makes sense, or if that's how it works. I had to figure out, okay, how am I going to remember to breathe? I told myself that if I was thinking to myself my back was hurting, I would take a moment, step back, and I would evaluate my breath and evaluate my mindset, evaluate my whole body. I'd look at my posture and see if that was like kind of crappy. I would look at my breath to see if I was breathing shallow or holding my breath, and I would look at my mindset and be like, okay, am I worried about something right now? Am I anticipating something? Am I stressing for whatever reason? And if I took the time to kind of check in with myself, I found that I could stabilize everything and make it so I could stop an anxiety attack and stop myself from freaking out. I'm chill as a grill. Chill pill. I'm a chill pill of a person. I think I like Pavlov dogged myself, honestly, because like if I hear someone breathe, it'll remind me to breathe. Or if I hear anything from my meditation soundtrack, so if I hear it pouring outside, that triggers me to remember to breathe. If I hear bells dinging, that triggers me to remember to breathe. And I kind of established a bunch of these, so I just have constant reminders like, hey, you're alive, you're a human, be human, breathe. Which sounds ridiculous, but it works, and it helps my anxiety a lot. And between breathing and consistent relaxation, I have found that my anxiety has gone down quite a lot. I think it's also important to evaluate your mental state consistently and make sure that you're working through any emotional turmoil on a daily basis. So anything that's bothering you, anything that upsets you in general, you really have to sit down and work out and make sure that you're keeping in touch with your spiritual self by making sure that your general mindset is solid and your physical state is under control, and trying to remember to breathe. Habitually, it gets easier, and with every single day of practice, it becomes more natural, and your natural state will be all around more relaxed and more chill. This has been a short little tidbit of information for those of you suffering with anxiety. I hope that this helped just a little bit. If it didn't, and if it totally wasted your time, I probably made you more anxious. Don't forget to breathe, because it's so important. Thanks, guys.